project is about driving positive change in the meetings, incentives, conference, and exhibition sector across Europe. We do it in collaboration with a number of institutions across Europe. So we have participation of organizations from Catalonia, Flanders, Italy, Germany, France, and Netherlands. So this is our consortium here. I'm not going to go into the details of each of the partners, but just for you to know that these partners have an important role because they are our national contact points. So if you have specific questions regarding eligibility in your country, you should address them. At the end of the presentation, you will have all the contact details. You also have the contact details in the webpage. So yes, this is your organizations of reference here. Our mission since the beginning has been to transform the industry into a regenerative, resilient, and responsible powerhouse. So as said, we have a funding from the European Commission to do that. That accounts for 4 million euros. Of these 4 million euros, 2.4 million will be dedicated to our acceleration program to provide funding for SMEs and other organizations of the MICE ecosystem. What else about the project? So basically, we are within the framework of certain flagship initiatives. One of them is the Tourism Transition Pathway, which is a main strategic roadmap that has been developed with the tourism ecosystem across Europe by the driving force of the European Commission. And then we also have as driving force, the Sustainable Development Goals. So here we are prioritizing sustainability, inclusivity, and lasting positive impacts. Our objectives as a project is then the creation of a new business model that strengthens these 3 transitions, sustainability, digitalization, and resilience. And then also co-designing solutions with the entire business events ecosystem to make a positive and enduring impact. So we are having several actions running across the countries, like trainings, co-creation sessions, and other types of actions where we are engaging the different stakeholders in the ecosystem. What else? We've been working for the past year in the identification of a set of best practices and defining future scenarios for the business events industry. So we've developed important resources here that we will share with you immediately. We are now launching our acceleration program. So this opportunity for which you are today here, I guess, to learn all the key facts about it. Our idea is also to, with the inspiration of these best practices, supporting the transformation of this of the industry. And then also we are running certain awareness raising actions across the ecosystem. So this is mainly the working actions of BEFuture project. As I said, there are certain important resources that we encourage you to use, especially if your aim is to participate in the acceleration program. We have a stakeholders network or a database that is being built, and it's available in our webpage. So everything you've got here is linked to our webpage. We have a compilation of best practices that we've been working with that collects numerous practices in different topics like sustainability, digitalization, resilience, legacy, and so on. So we invite you to check that out. We have now, as said, we are working on the acceleration program. We have an interesting document also for you to check, which is the new scenarios and business models for the future of business events. This is an important resource as well if you aim to participate in the acceleration program opportunity. And then the BEFuture white paper, which is our guiding document on where we want to go. So just so that you know, this is all linked, and we invite you to check that out. And now we are moving into the acceleration program. So after this short introduction into the BEFuture, we were mentioning the acceleration program as our key component. to support and accelerate the transformation of the ecosystem through innovative projects. So basically, the benefits of the acceleration program stand as first, financial support. We are offering lump sums between 20,000 and 30,000 euros to stakeholders that want to apply for the acceleration program. We are also providing and giving access to expertise. So we are building a pool of BEFuture mentors. We will also talk about it shortly during the presentation. We are offering international and local training in different locations. I mentioned what are the countries of the BEFuture partnership. So pay attention, because in our agenda in the BEFuture website, you will be able to check where this is happening and when. We are also gonna give and support the visibility of the innovative projects funded under the acceleration program with certain recognition and showcase and networking events that will help you raise the visibility of your project, and then obviously networking opportunities. So we are creating here a community of innovative projects, peers willing to exchange and get good practices from the ecosystem. So these are our main benefits here for participating in the acceleration program. So how to participate in the acceleration program? We are launching a call. It's a competitive and open call that it's already open. It's been open since the 5th of December and will be closing in the 5th of February at 5 in the afternoon. So 555 basically. These are your dates and deadline to remember. The 5th of February is when the call for the acceleration program is closing. So the idea here is to fund at least 80 innovative projects. As mentioned, these innovative projects will have estimated budgets of between 20,000 to 30,000 euros of financial support. And with this financial support, they will be covering at least minimum 20 hours of mentorship, plus travel and participation to IBTM 2025 for our final event and showcasing and networking action. So besides that, obviously, there's other costs that you can cover, but these are mandatory costs that you need to estimate when you build your budget. What else important? We will go on the details after more about the costs that are eligible. So do not worry too much about that now. But first, we want to introduce you the objectives of the call. So our idea with this acceleration program is to facilitate innovation and development of minimum viable products. So basically, we aim at transforming innovative ideas into MVPs through the use of advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics, and sustainable materials. Another objective is enhancing the scaling up and commercialization of proven innovative solutions. So the transformation of tested pilots or early stages of development to feasible business models, solid models that are sustainable and that we can sustain a market entrance there. And then what we're looking for as well is strengthening collaboration within the ecosystem. So we are funding initiatives that are collaborative across the business event sector, but also cross sectors, so engaging other sectors that relate to the business events industry. What else important to know if you can apply, obviously? So the eligibility rules of the call for the acceleration program. So the acceleration program is dedicated to SMEs, basically. This is something very important you must bear in mind, because applications can be submitted by single SMEs or a consortium of entities, up to 4 entities, where at least there's one SME. And what is very important as well to consider is that when building a consortium, at least 70% of the financial support must be addressed for SMEs. So this is important for you. In terms of eligibility, knowing if you're an SME, obviously, that's important. For that, we are within non-profit companies and NGOs can participate as long as they comply with the definition of the SME according to the EU recommendation 2003. 361. So basically, non-profit social enterprises and so on are welcome to participate. Also, startup entrepreneurs and self-employed people. Here, what we recommend is strongly, obviously, to read the call guidelines where we describe the full eligibility criteria. We give you as well links to the self-check on whether you are an SME or not. So this is something you need to make sure before applying. We cannot do it for you, so we encourage you to go to the guidelines, check this out, and the links there for the self-assessment check on whether you are an SME or not. As we mentioned, SMEs are the core beneficiary of the program, but also other entities can be part of the consortium. And when we mean other entities, are entities that are public, private, and so on. But remember that this is very important. At least 70% of the financial support must be tackling the SME. So there's also geographical eligibility requirements here. We mentioned that the BEFuture is composed by a number of entities across Europe. Those entities are based in Belgium, Flanders, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, or Spain, so Catalonia. So you must make sure that your company is registered in one of these countries in order to participate and be eligible for the funding under the acceleration program. What's also very important is that the partnerships, the consortium must be national. They cannot be across borders. So there's no possibility of joining forces between an SME of Belgium and, let's say, a organization in the Netherlands. But there is a possibility that you engage with service providers from other regions of Europe. We will come later on that. So the consortium, the consortium that is being formed to participate in the acceleration program must be mainly composed by SMEs and must be located in the same country. So these are two key points on the eligibility for participation. What else? So basically, also in terms of the grant, the budget distribution for this call, as mentioned, we have an allocation of 2.4 million euros across the countries, which is distributed differently per country. What's most important for you to remind is that at least a minimum of 8 projects will be funded per country. Okay, and then the maximum of projects will depend on the allocation of the budget per project. But yes, remember these figures: 20,000 minimum budget for an innovative project, and 30,000, that's the maximum budget you may get for a project. What's possible also when you will elaborate your estimated budget is to add additional resources. That would mean that we know that the grant, the lump sum of 30,000 euros might not be enough for running an innovative project that has certain ambition. So in case you can secure additional sources for additional resources for your project from other sources, we encourage you to list those, because for us it's interesting to see the overall feasibility of the innovative project and how other sources are secured for them. What else? Regarding the eligibility also, we were mentioning that the acceleration program targets the MICE industry, the business events industry, but the business events industry relates to other sectors. So basically here we encourage participation from organizations operating in the tech and digital sector, the social economy, energy sector, audiovisuals, food and beverages, construction, mobility, and other that are relevant. In the guidelines of the call, if you already read them, we've listed a number of NACE codes. That's the typology of registration used by the European Commission. There is a national equivalent for many of those, and they are listed in the call. But what it's important for you to remind is that if your NACE code is not listed there, that doesn't mean that you cannot participate. You would just have to demonstrate that you operate in a sector that is relevant for the MICE industry, so your business activity relates to it in a way. What else? So moving on to the scope of the call. So we were mentioning up to now eligibility in terms of participation. So now it's the scope of the projects that we are aiming for here. So this is very well defined in certain resources that I already mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. So basically, we encourage you to look at the white paper, which has been published in our website, where we described in detail each of these topics and subtopics. So basically, we have 4 topics which are key for us in driving transformation in the MICE industry. So we refer to climate change and circularity, and subtopics like carbon neutrality, circular economy, and sustainable mobility. As stated, we have this white paper, and we also have the future scenarios a document where you will be able to get more information on what we are expecting on each of these subtopics. So it's important that you use this as resource. Then we have another important topic for us, which is building talent and inclusion. So here we are talking about upskilling and future capabilities for the transformation of the business events industry, accessibility to events, and then inclusion and diverse participation in events. So these are our subtopics under this main topic of talent and inclusion. We have also the topic of governance and impact, and here we talk about the promotion of regenerative business models that can have a lasting positive impact. We talk also about cross-sector collaboration and local community platforms, profitability and technology access here. And then our last topic here is event experience. So here, how we integrate digital technologies to improve the event experience, how we use immersive technology and interactions. And obviously these different subtopics can be related to the other topics. So this is not isolated actions, but in a way you can relate to other subtopics. And then personalization and community building. So this would be the subtopics we refer. And as said, I mentioned 2 important resources for you to develop on this. And one is the white paper, and the other one is the think tank scenario. Sorry for that. We have then also a definition on what type of innovative projects we are expecting. So we have 4 levels of innovation here, which score differently when we evaluate your innovative project. So from incremental to radical, the scoring you will get is from less to more. Radical projects getting the highest scoring in terms of innovation. So basically we have a description for each of these type of innovation. Incremental would be gradual, continuous improvements on existing products and services. We have a substantial, which would be a significant improvement on a product that aims to sustain the position in an existing market. We have then the disruptive level, which is technology or new business models that disrupt existing market. And finally, we have radical innovations, which concern technological breakthroughs that transform industries, often creating a new market. No? So here you have also this graphic that shows and illustrates the level of technology newness and the impact it can have on the market, depending on the type and level of innovation. You will have to justify when you draft your application form how you relate to the scope of the call, so the topics that I mentioned before, and how you relate to this type of innovations. You will have to justify and provide a clear description on why you consider you are either incremental, substantial, disrupting of you have a radical innovative project. So here a bit more on the description of the type of innovative projects. I won't go into the details because we already introduced those. What's important as well is that we also are using the reference of technology readiness levels. And basically, we're providing bigger scoring to TRL levels at 7. Less at 6, less at 5, and less at 4. And the other technology readiness levels are not scoring. So this is important when you conceptualize or when presenting your innovative projects. So the technology readiness levels indicates what is at what stage, basically. So whether it's a concept validation or development phase, and that then evidences whether it's suitable for rapid completion within the program timeframe. So remember that the duration of the acceleration program is 8 months. So within this period, we should be able to consider this. Very important as well, Resus here is you've got a link to the technology readiness level definition and an assessment tool that can guide you on identifying at what TRL are you with your innovative projects. So this is an important resource here as well to check for you. What else? I already introduced certain mandatory budget items. So we are talking here about a lump sum of 20,000 to 30,000 euros. When we talk about a lump sum, means that we are offering a global prize for this innovative project. So you commit to deliver certain outputs or outcomes or deliverables, as you wish to tell them, with this financial input that we are giving to you. This financial input has to be used to invest in certain intellectual or knowledge inputs. So we call these mandatory budget items the 20-hour mentorship that is compulsory. So you will have to recruit a mentor from the BEFuture pool of mentors. Right now, there's an open call for mentors. I will talk about it a bit later, but we are offering you access to expertise and facilitating you the identification of mentors. If you already work with a mentor for a long time, you can ask them to actually just submit their application to the pool of mentors and become part of it. So it's not that we are closing and limiting the participation of experts. The pool is open and broad. So in case you're working already with a mentor for many years or with a consultant that can participate in this pool, we encourage you to let them know about this opportunity and then become part of it. Yeah, another compulsory budget item that I mentioned at the beginning is the travel and participation in IBTM 2025. So basically here, this will be our final event with beneficiaries of the acceleration program. So we want you to be there, obviously. We will organize a showcase event. We will have some networking opportunities and what would be a great opportunity to meet other peers from the industry. Most importantly, so after you cover these two mandatory budget items, you must allocate according to your needs. No? So basically, whether you need services to implement a business idea, whether you need to purchase a software or a license, pay for a license to conduct your innovative project, whether your innovative project entails as well registration and certification, the obtention of a label, whether you want to train staff that could also be allocated as part of the lump sum. And the training would refer obviously to promoting talent related to sustainability, resilience, digitalization, innovation, and so on. And then promotion and communication activities can also be included as part of your estimated budget. What's important to know is that both training for staff and promotion and communication of activities have a limited threshold. So training up to 15% of your budget and promotion and communication activities up to a maximum of 10%. So for a lump sum of 30,000 euros, if you've estimated a budget to receive support for 30,000 euros, your promotion and communication activities could only be budgeted for 3,000 euros. That's just a quick example and easy to follow. So yeah, here are more details about the type of costs that you can estimate. I give you the big categories, no? So services to implement a business idea, the software, the registration and certification costs, and so on, promotion and communication activities, the training. But that can concern, for instance, a consultancy firm providing you support to draft a market study or develop a business plan, or a legal consultancy firm to support you on developing intellectual property. Then, as said, the purchase of software for the creation and testing of new technologies or services, licenses for sustainability tracking, and so on. Then, as said, also the registration for the obtention of certification schemes. In the guidelines, we list which type of certifications we look for. So basically, EMAS, EU Ecolevel, and other certification programs. You can justify as well, if not listed, other certification schemes that you may find relevant. And then, as say, training of staff based on certified courses and other type of workshops, and then marketing actions. You can also specify other type of costs, as they relate obviously to your and are fundamental to the implementation of your innovative project. So yes, services listed acquired outside the EU are also eligible. So you can also recruit service providers from outside the EU, and actually service providers from outside the participating countries of BEFuture, so all EU member states and beyond the European Union. About the mentors, so I've been talking a bit about it already, because this is also an important action we are running right now. So we are building a pool of experts, mentors, consultants that have expertise in the business development sector or related sectors, and that have qualifications related to sustainability, digitalization, innovation, and so on. So the pool of mentors, the call is open until the 15th of May. You can apply through this link in the presentation. And basically, as we've been saying, each project must recruit at least 20 hours of mentorship. These 20 hours are compulsory. If you want to recruit more hours, that's possible. It's up to you to negotiate the fee with the mentor. We have not fixed an amount, because depending on the origin of the mentor, fees are very different, and obviously also depending on the professional experience of the mentor. So we did not limit that. It's up to you to negotiate with your mentor the terms of agreement. regarding the fees to be paid. What's important is that the mentor duties concern support, so basically oversee specific project tasks that facilitate the achievement of the project objectives. Also encourage the project to take advantage of support services available through BEFuture and other initiatives, so engage you with other experts. And then support you, and very important in the reporting, so undertaking your duties, your obligations when it comes to the preparation of the reports during the midterm and final closing of the acceleration program. So I'm getting here some questions, just reading them quickly. Yes, how can we budget the cost for the mentor without knowing which mentor we receive? Yeah. We encourage you first either to contact already in the pool of mentors, either to estimate a cost you're willing to pay for the fees of a mentor in your budget. What happens if you estimate in your budget a certain amount of budget for mentorship, that then it's less or more? Let's say you've already accounted the 20 hours and a total amount of, let's say, 5,000 euros. That's your budget. But you're below or above that, we won't be checking that. So there's flexibility in that sense. So what we will be checking is that at least the 20 hours of mentorship have been done, and that those have delivered certain results, like supporting the reporting. There's an accompaniment of the project. So we won't get into the details of whether you spend more or less. Okay, so that's one thing. Another question mentions, if I want to develop a piece of technology, is that services to implement a business idea? And can I only spend 15% of my budget? 15% is for training only. So the only cost categories that are limited are the training of the staff, and that's up to 15% of the budget. So maybe this is not very clear in the presentation, but there should be a circle here. Training for staff limited to 15% of the grant budget. And the other cost category that is limited is promotion and communications activities to 10%. So that are the only two categories that are limited. So if you want to develop a piece of technology that is a service to implement a business idea, and there is no limit on that. So whatever you have left in your budget when you have already estimated the 20 hours of mentorship and the travel and participation to IBTM. There's quite a lot of questions that have been already replied by my colleagues, so thank you very much. Yeah, the deadline to submit the application is 5th of February, exactly. How is the matching between projects and mentors organized? So there's going to be a section in our webpage, a marketplace, where you would have access to the mentors. And in fact, there's already a number of them with their profiles published there, if I'm not wrong. And if not, they will be published very soon. So you will get access to the experts that have been already identified and are part of our pool of mentors. As I already mentioned, and this is very important, if you are already working with a mentor or consultant, or you have someone in mind that could be your support in the innovative project, ask them to submit an application to the call for mentors. They will be quickly accepted into our pool and be part of the pool of mentors. There's another question on how will the grant will be paid out. this will be replied later on, so I will get back to this in a second. And would we be eligible if we are headquartered in Brussels, meaning those companies located in Brussels? The Belgian challenge, yeah. So only companies registered in Flanders. So that's the requirement for participants from Belgium. But you could always so there's a way of going around this, no? So you can always work as a service provider of an innovative project. So if you've got a, let's say, collaboration with an SME from Flanders, you could help them out in drafting a innovative project application and become their service provider. Because service providers, we, as I said, they don't have to meet any eligibility requirement of participation in the acceleration program. They are third parties to this acceleration program. So starting dates of the program, we will also get to this. So the terms and conditions of the CAL have been released. Yes, they are published in the website of BEFuture. At the end of the presentation, you will have all the links. Shall the SME be owned by co-founders directly, or can it be owned by a company from another EU country as well, which in turn is owned by co-founders? Well, that's a I think it's better if you write us with your specific case, but remember that the company must prove registration in the country of eligibility, or the region of eligibility in the case of Flanders and Catalonia. So in order to receive the funding and confirm the allocation of funds, we will ask you for proof and evidence of your registration, okay? Your commercial registration, to know whether the company is actually eligible and meeting the requirements. Yeah, that's a question we are getting a lot. Is there a possibility of paying ourselves a stipend from the budget? So officially, the European Commission wants the budget to be spent on intellectual and knowledge input. So only service providers can be paid out by the lump sum. Okay, so that's how it works. And we must obey to the rules of the European Commission. So unfortunately, there's no human resources you can allocate in the budget. There's so many questions already replied. Does the training for staff also includes sales and communication training for the sales team? Yes, and that could be a part of a resilient effort. So basically, it could be, no, yeah. This has been replied already. And can SME apply in 2 different projects? No, only one application per SME. So you can only apply in one project. Could you please speak to the following topics at some point? Thank you. What are the documentation requirements for the use of the budget? Okay, that's a good question. Can we be in another Berlin-based accelerator program before or in parallel? That's also a very good question. So we are talking here about a lump sum. Okay, that's very important. That's a global price, meaning that there's exception in Catalonia, so people from Catalonia don't listen to me. But for the rest of participants, there is no documentation requirement in principle for the justification of the use of budget. When it concerns a lump sum or a global price, what we are going to ask you is the outputs, the outcomes of the use of these funds. So if you mention that you're going to develop a prototype with the funds, we will ask you for evidence of this prototype. If you said that with the funds you're going to elaborate a market analysis, the outcome is going to be this market analysis, and we will ask you for this market analysis of on proof of the use of budget. Okay, so that's an important difference between the model of lump sum, in which we give appreciation to the outputs and deliverables that you committed to do, and the model of cost reimbursement, where you need to justify each cost that you've done with an invoice and so on. That's not going to be the case, except for Catalonia. Okay, so this is very important, the lump sum concept here. Okay, and then yes, you can receive funding from other sources. What we will ask and certify is that there is no double funding. So the Berlin-based accelerator must fund other activities and actions of your innovative project. We mentioned at the beginning that other sources can be listed when you prepare your estimated budget. So we will come back to that later on with this explanation, okay? So do I need to calculate the mentor fee, or is there a general hourly fee to be applied? We mentioned that there's not general hourly fee to be applied because the mentors have different levels of expertise and experience. So you must approximate, or you must negotiate during the preparation phase of your application with the mentor. As I mentioned, there's flexibility on that. So you could have an allocation for your mentor that then goes below or above. Okay, so we are not gonna be is strict on whether you spend more or less on that. Okay. So basically, there's quite a long question here. So the questions: funding requirements and budgeting. How should the reporting of investments be conducted? As mentioned, this is a lump sum. So you have an estimated budget where you will list all the investments all the use of the funding you will do, and how this use of funding translate into specific outputs or outcomes. So we're gonna ask for that. That's your reporting, whether you did or not what you committed to do. The market analysis, the prototype development, the use of a software platform to track your carbon footprint, so on. Is it possible to make minor adjustments? Yes, it's possible. What we will ask is the achievement of the specific outcomes or outputs. What's important for us at this stage when you submit your estimated budget is to know how are you going to use the funds and whether this is cost effective. Then there's a question about transparency of evaluation and audits. Are there specific guidelines for conducting audits? There's not going to be audits as an internal audit of your project. But there could be one from the European Commission in many years. That would be very bad luck for you. I've never gotten one in 10 years of working with EU projects. So that to say that even if we are not going to be requesting invoices, you should keep them archived, because there could be an audit, ad hoc audit of the European Commission. That would be very bad luck. But also, actually, in the guidelines, we mentioned that you should keep track of your financial documents in case of compliance with your deliverables. In that case, we are going to ask you, so how did you spend your budget then, if you did not make your market analysis, if you did not make your prototype development, and so on. Okay, so I think we're moving on, and then we continue with the questions, because there's a lot of presentations still, and there's questions that can be replied either through the presentation, or if not during the meeting, we will come back to them and reply to you and publish them in the website. So what to do before submitting the project? So it's very important that you go and visit our Get Funding section in the webpage, and most importantly, that you read the guidelines of the call. Okay, so you need to read them all, and you need to pay attention to all the points regarding eligibility and admission of your application. Okay, we encourage you to attend informative sessions that are scheduled in the agenda of BEFuture webpage. Get account of these email addresses and social profiles so that you are up to date on all the news. We've got this FAQ section you can visit, and we will update the FAQ section with the questions we're getting today. What else? You need to download the templates before starting your submission online. There's a courtesy application form, and there's a pitch deck of your proposed project, and there's the budget breakdown. You can all download them directly from here. We encourage you to fill them ahead of your submission, because on the online platform, you will not be able to save and retrieve the information you have entered. So if you go directly to write there your application form, that's a big mistake, because if you might lose your information. So we encourage you to do it all in the courtesy application form through the link we provided. So application is done through the submission page. It's visible in our webpage. In any case, here you have the direct link on behalf of the lead applicant in case of consortiums. Okay, so we said that the closing date is 5th of February. Start filling in your application. That does not need to be said, because if you exceed the deadline, it's not going to be admitted, your application. So key steps are first registering to the webpage, to the BEFuture platform, sorry. And then you will be able to go through the general administrative information that demonstrate your eligibility through this eligibility check. Then your project description is the second step, and remember to do it in English or your local language. This project description includes the application form, so this courtesy application form we linked before, and the pitch deck that we linked before, and the budget breakdown, okay? We've already mentioned that you need to work on these documents outside the platform beta, okay? Very important also when you fill in your application form is to understand the award criteria. So what makes your proposal successful? In that case, you will have better understanding of what scores better of your innovative project. So for the budget breakdown, this is a very important document. As I have been saying, you need to read carefully the instructions before filling it. You need to complete your project information. There's compulsory cells for travel and services, basically what we mentioned, the mentorship and the travel to IBTM 2025. There is a lot of alerts in the budget breakdown, so whenever you are missing something, there's going to be a red alert. So that should help you. The budget rules we mentioned already, over 20,000 euros up to maximum of 30,000 euros, but you can list other sources in a separate table. And at least 70% of this grant amount must be dedicated to the SMEs. The training cost cannot exceed 15% of the budget, and communication cost and marketing cannot exceed 10%. So you will also get a red alert in case you go ahead these thresholds. You have the other resources sheet, where you can complete additional resources. And then, as said, there's a lot of red alerts, so make sure your budget checklist is all correct before finalizing this document. So here's where you will fill in the project information. So let applicant name, name of the proposal, the country, and type of innovative project. The budget will be adding automatically from the next sheet of the Excel, and then you can also list your partnership here. That's where you complete the budget with all the checklists, here, so you will get correct or red if not filled properly, and we'll explain you why it's not been filled properly. What else? And then this is the other resources where you can list, for instance, if you participate in an additional acceleration program. So, what type of activity is funding, and what?
Because we do every.
I think someone turned on. Okay. So, and then when you completed the courtesy application form, the pitch deck, and the estimated budget, so here is when you upload the documents, you check that all is complete, that you do it on time before 5th February at 5, and that's done through the online submission page in English or your local language. Okay, so these are 3 points of admission here that need to be checked. Someone asked about the calendar of the project. So projects will last 8 months, starting April 2025 until the end of November 2025. Those dates are tentative, but very likely to happen. That's our commitment with the European Commission. So we expect to comply with it. Basically, the evaluation results should be out on beginning of March, so you will be notified on the 4th of March about your success or not, and then you will be invited to formalize your contracts, so to get started on April 1st. On April 1st or around this date, we're going to have a project kickoff where we will explain you all the implementation rules. Many of them have been already mentioned today. So what else? Oops, now I cannot. Oh, sorry. Yes. So the evaluation process is run by 3 independent evaluators. That's, as I said, you need to understand the evaluation process, also looking at the award criteria, which is listed subsequently. We have 6 criteria with different weights. We will check relevance, innovation potential, feasibility, exploitation, participants' and teams' capacities, and cost effectiveness with different weights, say. Here you have a bit of the description on what is looked in each of the evaluation award criteria, and we kindly and strongly encourage you to check the guidelines, because you will get the details on how each of these award criteria is going to be scored. So that gives you an understanding of how well your innovative project could rank in the ranking of projects. So what else? Oh, it's going very slow. I don't know why it's not moving. Yeah. So this is what I mentioned as well about the questions. If you need more help, we already have listed the call inquires email. So here you can send us all your information or your doubts on eligibility. That's very important before you actually go into wasting more time in your application. So check first that you meet the eligibility requirements. We will reply to you in this address. You can find also in the webpage detailed information about the local information sessions, and here the local contact points in case you want to have, direct contact with your peers in your country. That's, oh, it's going so slow, sorry. I think I can reply also to some of the questions. Christina, you've been replying to many of them. I don't know if I should, because I've lost track on what I responded or what no. But one thing for sure is that this would be included in the in the FAQ document. So yes, you can check them out there. Wait one moment.
Maybe I can tell you the ones that have not been answered, and then you can answer them, Marta. That may be easier. Well, is everything that we state now in the budget fixed, or are we able to allocate budget from one category to another during the acceleration program? For instance, from marketing to software license.
Can you repeat? Sorry, because I was just putting on the presentation.
Yeah, is everything that we state now in the budget fixed, or are we able to allocate budget from one category to another during the acceleration program, from marketing to software license, for instance?
Yeah. So the thing here is when you build first your estimated budget, okay, and you will estimate certain costs, and perhaps it's important that I go back to the and I don't know if you will be able to see it there, but if I go back to the estimated budget, yes. So here, I don't know if it's very clear for you to see. For me, it's very little, at least. I don't know what's going on, but it stops sharing the. Do you see it, or I'm just the only one having problems with my presentation? So in the estimated budget, when one fills in the information about the cost estimated for each of the activities, there's a relation with the output you deliver there, okay? For us, this is an estimation, and it's a guidance for evaluating the cost effectiveness of the project. If you then, during the implementation, spend less or more of what you estimated here, as long as the quality of the output is what you stated here, so the last column here is the output or outcome or deliverable description. So here's where you say, I'm gonna use a consultancy firm to work on a market analysis. The market analysis is the output, and the market analysis will contain information about that and that and that and that. So when you are reporting back to us on the implementation of the project, we're gonna ask you about the market analysis. If the market analysis is one page and you mentioned you will spend 5,000 euros, we're gonna say like this is not complying with what you promised to deliver. Okay, so that's important because the quality of the deliverable is going to be what we will use to measure accomplishment.
Marta, just a question related to that, because it was me asking the question. It is more or less about changing the strategy, because as we all know, some kind of entrepreneurship is always a process of iteration. So if we have companies that come to the conclusion, okay, well, I do not need any budget for marketing, even though I stated that this goes hand in hand with this and that goal, but they come to the conclusion, okay, I do not need marketing. I put it all into maybe MVP building or software, whatever, and can find an argumentation for that. Would that be fine?
It's totally fine. Yes, it's totally fine, because there's going to be a checkpoint in the process, which is the midterm. And we expect at that point that companies can justify any changes. So,
okay, perfect.
Yeah. So that's possible because obviously, we are talking, as you say, we need flexibility here. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome, Doreen.